Welcome to Art of Officiating's weekly dozen, comprising plays through October 25, 2025. I'm Mark Bradley. These videos are from Colorado Games, so I'll reference the Colorado 5-Person Mechanics Manual and Colorado Rules Interpretations and Modifications. Please consult your state's Mechanics Manual and Rules Interpretations if I say something that doesn't match what you do in your state. In the Week 7 video, we discussed forward progress precepts. I want to begin Week 9 with another forward progress clip. Rule 215.1 says forward progress is the end of advancement of the ball toward the opponent's goal in a runner's possession. We need to determine the yard line where the runner's forward progress was involuntarily halted. The word involuntary is not in the rules book, but thinking of descriptive words to amplify the rules book verbiage is helpful, as long as we don't stray from the intent of the rule. A runner doesn't have to be wrapped up or physically restrained for his forward progress to be ruled stopped. Forceful contact that clearly drives the runner backward is enough. However, if the runner meets resistance and then retreats on his own to look for another path, the covering wing should not rule that forward progress was stopped at the point of initial contact. The runner voluntarily changed direction. A12 runs into his teammate A57, who is engaged in blocking B16. The key question is, how much of A12's movement afterward is a voluntary retreat to break free, and how much is simply being carried backward by B16's contact? The head linesman must mark the yard line where his forward progress was involuntarily stopped. As I've mentioned in previous videos, I have the benefit of slowing this play down and watching it dozens of times. The linesman only gets one look at it in real time. I like his spot based on what he processed in the moment. I'd like to see the line judge mirror his partner more closely. He moved back to where the runner was dumped. While dead ball officiating, he should quickly adjust his position to match the linesman's location. I also like how the referee maintained a cushion until the ball became dead. Then he closed in to provide proximity to the pile. If the umpire can't get there quickly, the referee can step in to supply both the presence and the voice needed to manage players. Here's a great what right looks like mechanic near Team A's goal line. The ball is snapped from the B4, so the wings have reverse goal line responsibility. The referee is on the end line, so at the snap, the wings must immediately retreat to the goal line to determine the ball's location when the runner is downed. You can't execute this any better. The wing immediately retreated to the goal line and was stationary to rule the ball completely left the end zone when the runner was driven backward. He didn't just stay planted on the sideline. He hustled onto the field as he marked forward progress. If the wing doesn't properly execute reverse goal line mechanics and is standing on the B4 when the runner is contacted, he's just guessing. One final note. The home team's coach wants to stop the clock to get the ball back with enough time for one more series. We should allow him to leave the coach's area to request a timeout. I always make that part of the pregame conversation. Coach, if you need to call a timeout and I'm near the goal line, come down the line to get my attention. The coach should not be flagged for leaving the coach's area. It's 2nd and 3 from the A41. Although it's not expressly mentioned in the Colorado Mechanics Manual, I like to see the wings treat the line to gain as a money line, just like the goal line. This means they should move to the line to gain at the snap. The punchline is they should be stationary at the line to gain when the ball arrives. Neither wing moves much at the snap. If the ball was downed at the A44, we wouldn't have eyes on that line. The line judge hops or bounces on his way to the forward progress spot. Don't keep your torso parallel to the sideline. Instead, turn your torso and walk or trot or sprint if needed as you advance. B-53's helmet comes off, and multiple players immediately turn to the officials to complain. We get a few teaching points from this action. First, unless the back judge clearly witnesses a foul that caused the helmet to come off, most likely it would be a face mask foul by a blocker, B-53 must leave the field for at least one play. All the officials should give the stop the clock signal, and the player must depart. The wing on that sideline should inform the coaches the player must be replaced. Sometimes coaches are managing other responsibilities. They may not immediately recognize a substitute is needed. Wait until the defense has 11 players on the field before blowing the ready for play whistle with a 40-second play clock, since the helmet came off a defensive player. Second, as you can see from the clip, players or coaches may automatically assume a foul caused the helmet to come off. Sometimes the helmet comes off because it's not properly secured. The covering official shouldn't guess or err on the side of safety. He must clearly witness a foul to toss a flag. There is obviously contact to B-53's helmet, but did the blocker purposefully deliver a blow above the shoulders, or was this just incidental contact amid the congestion? In week 5, I showed a block in the back flag during a free kick, and I mentioned, in my opinion, among all the rulings we make, the one most often called incorrectly is the block in the back. There will be 2 illegal block in the back flags during this play, and in my judgment, both blocks in question were legal. This block was flagged. Rule 252 says blocking in the back is a block against an opponent when the initial contact is in the opponent's back, inside the shoulders and below the helmet and above the waist. It appears the blocker initiated contact above the waist and from the side, and then maintained the block as B9 moved to intercept the runner. The end of the block appears to be an illegal block in the back, but since initial contact was from the side, this is not a foul. This second block was also ruled a block in the back. I don't see any illegal contact. It appears B-23 simply dives and misses the tackle. The back judge can't just look at the end of the play and assume A-21 was guilty of a foul based on how B-23 landed. As I've said before, blocks in the back need to absolutely scream, and we need to see the beginning, middle, and end of the action. If we think it's a foul, it's not. One officiating standard is to look for chasers. Chasers will block an opponent from behind. A player who is not a chaser will not block an opponent in the back. A-21 is not a chaser. Here's the drone view of the play. Notice how the coach is yelling and pointing to the block. I'm not saying this happened, but this is a reminder we will often hear complaints from the coaches near us on the sideline, and we need to discount that noise. The coach steps toward the sideline and forces the line judge to move around him. I wouldn't flag that if the coaches had stayed out of the restricted area up to this point, but this would be a perfect opportunity to put money in the bank and remind the coach to stay out of the restricted area while the ball is live. I love how the line judge tosses his flag and then races down the field to continue to officiate to the end of the play. A21 barely got a hand on B23. That was not a block in the back. Here's another legal block that was flagged. R0 is not a chaser. The contact is with open hands from the side. K4 doesn't face plant. He lands on his side. Two Team K players contact the runner and drive him almost to the track. This must be flagged as a personal foul. The tackle is well out of bounds. This is an all-hands-on-deck moment, and I like how the umpire and back judge immediately join the line judge in the team box. Sometimes I see clips where an official stands by his flag and the umpire strolls toward the sideline while we have a bunch of things going on in the team box. In this case, it's textbook coverage of a potentially volatile situation. As Team A breaks the huddle, A5 will indicate to the line judge he'll be on the line of scrimmage, while A35 will indicate to the linesman he's in the backfield. A5 then forgets where he's supposed to line up and points into the backfield. The line judge then punches back twice to indicate the two outside players on his side are in the backfield. He actually has three players on his side in the backfield because A11 is outside the right tackle. At the snap, only the line judge tosses his flag. There are 2 points to consider. First, I'd like to see the line judge hold his signal until he sees confirmation from the linesman. He punches back twice, but then he drops his arm. I'm not sure the linesman saw him punch back. He does tap his flag, which indicates he'll throw his flag at the snap. Second, I'd like to see him actually sky the flag. He tosses it no higher than head level. We throw a flag to communicate that a foul has occurred. It's a signal to everyone on the field. We need to communicate the foul a little better with the flag skied straight up. The formation is strong to the line judge's side, so the line judge's passing play initial responsibility is A11, and the back judge has the two outside receivers on that side. When A83 goes in motion, this changes the keys. The line judge keeps A11, and the back judge now only has A5. The linesman now has A35 and A83. The line judge stays connected to A11. That's his key. Great job. As soon as A12 releases the ball, the line judge must get on his horse to close down as much as possible to help the back judge with the matchup when the ball arrives far downfield. I also like how the line judge stays visually connected to the players out of view before he turns to report the foul to the referee. This is the block we're going to watch. The back judge has a great view of this block. The line judge should be looking ahead of the runner, but he also has responsibility to view the pending contact on the runner. He most likely narrows his view to a possible tackle as B17 approaches. Here is what I absolutely love in this play. The umpire is not walking. He is working hard to stay connected, and he's not laser focused on the runner, who's not his responsibility. He continues to look ahead of the runner and correctly flags the hold and the takedown. The umpire should avoid crossing the goal line while the ball is live. Since he started in the field of play, he should be careful not to back up over the line. Hypothetically, if the ball was snapped inside the B10 and he did this, he could potentially block the line judge's field of view to the ball carrier. The ball is snapped from the B6. The wings are responsible for the goal line. Notice the line judge is punching back and ruling that his receiver is in the backfield. Once again, what is the location of the tight end? Not on the line judge's side. So that receiver will want to be on the line. And it looks like he's close enough to put him on the line. We'll see at the snap the linesman tosses a flag because his back is in the backfield, uncovering the tight end on his side of the field. Neither wing makes an effort to move toward the goal line. If the runner is tackled at that money line, we're back to guessing. We'll once again discuss forward progress in this clip. First, notice the umpire's eye discipline. He doesn't turn and watch the ball. He's focused on his area, the wedge ahead of the runner. I think the runner's forward progress was stopped before the ball was ripped out of his grasp. The umpire initially correctly advances to the R21 to match the runner's movement. It's okay to mentally process the play after the ball comes loose, and even though it may be a little delayed, correctly decide the ball was dead before the fumble. If the line judge has an opinion, he can approach the umpire and ask if he thought forward progress was stopped before the ball came loose. We discussed the importance of identifying the tight end's location prior to the snap. A17 is the tight end at the end of the line on the line judge's side. The formation is balanced. We can't see the line judge in this view, but I'm assuming he's punching back to indicate A83 is in the backfield. The line judge will observe A17 when he reads pass, and the back judge will key on A83. The ball is snapped on the A20. A73 is at the A22 when the passer releases the ball. Remember, we must take a visual snapshot of the ineligible player's location when the ball is released. A73 was not beyond the expanded neutral zone when the ball was thrown. And hypothetically, even if he was on the A23 or even the A24, I wouldn't throw a flag as he was all by himself. The defense was not drawn to him as a potential receiver. No unfair advantage would be gained. The linesman gives up on the play. The runner continues downfield, but now we're officiating the play with only 4 officials. The umpire, as always, is hustling to stay connected, but we need that opposite official to run down the field to help with cross-field mechanics if necessary. Also, hypothetically, if A17 fumbled and the defense picked up the ball and it moved to the visitor side of the field, no one will be there. Continue to officiate to the end of the play as if you had not thrown a flag. There are multiple mechanics issues in this final video. The formation is balanced, so the line judge's passing play initial responsibility is A6. The line judge stares into the backfield until the pass is thrown, and only then does he shift his eyes to A29. That's too late. We'll miss illegal use of hands, holding, or offensive pass interference if we wait until this moment to look downfield. I do like that the line judge remained at the line of scrimmage and didn't drift downfield. I often see wings move downfield for no reason on passing plays. The line judge won't get run over from this position, and he has a wide enough field of view to watch the receiver's hands and feet. The runner is driven backward out of bounds, so his forward progress was stopped in the field of play. The line judge should give the wind the clock signal and not the stop the clock signal. He has a player behind him, so he should be facing out of bounds and not in the field of play while he marks forward progress. There's nothing to officiate in front of him. He has a player in the opponent's team box area, so he needs to focus on that. Finally, notice he's marked forward progress at the A41, and the line to gain is the A42. Here's the next snap. 1st and 10 from the A41. I'm not sure what happened there, but someone on the crew of 5 should have noticed that. That's your weekly dozen for games through October 25, 2025. Thanks for watching. Please like this video and subscribe to the weekly dozen, and please invite other officials to do the same. I also invite you to visit artofofficiating.com to view more high school football officiating content.